His eyes are cold and restless. Wounds have almost healed. And she give half of Texas just to change the way he feels. Well, she knows he loves a toss-up. She knows he's gotta go. Well, it ain't no woman in flesh or blood. It's that damned old rodeo. Cherish these moments, ladies and gentlemen. Cherish them, because we're not always going to sing you unique songs in this intro. You guys are going to look back one day and be like, remember when Evan used to actually sing in the podcast? He'd give us just a hot hit, give you a solid 4 bars just for free. Just 4 bars off the top like that. I don't write these down. I don't prepare it. I sit down here and I go, what am I going to give them this week, kids? Don't have kids, but I said it for the metaphor. Was planning on not wearing headphones, but it's fucking weird doing a podcast with no headphones on. Because you know what it means? It means I'm a fucking crazy person just talking in the room by myself. For some reason, when I put the headphones on, I feel like I'm broadcasting. I feel like it's bigger than just me, you know? If I'm just in here with no headphones on, I look like a goddamn... There's no difference between me and a homeless person. Just out there, chatting to the atmosphere, farting in flowers and shit. I've seen it. One day you're going to listen to this podcast and I'm just going to have fucking... Nah, I can't have Aretha Franklin. God damn it. Mariah Carey. Nah, I don't want Mariah Carey. Miley Cyrus. Nah, we don't want Miley Cyrus. To be determined, okay? To be determined. Who's going to intro the podcast? But that was a hot hit I just gave you guys. Coming on a Monday. Middle of the day podcast. I try to get these out in the morning, but sometimes it just don't work like that. Your boy runs a business, okay? Get your peepers on how my business works. I run a video production business. I got clients. I run a merch business. I got emails and inventory and shit I got to deal with. Hashtag mogul shit. Hashtag no Gary V. Hashtag the grind. Okay? But one day, I'm going to have an intro. One day, I'm just going to have music play, and it's going to be something. It's going to be something different. I'm not always going to sing to you. But I'll be honest, I like singing to you guys. It's fun. It's fun. Sometimes I give you guys a hit, and then you write me a message and be like, I forgot how much I love that song, and I went and listened to it. Happens all the time. It doesn't happen too often. But you know what does happen too often? Homeless people. I started getting on a point right there. I was talking about homeless people just farting on flowers and shit. Happens. Happens all around where I live. There's no free rides in life, you know? There's no free rides. You want to live in California? You're going to pay that California tax. What's that California tax? Well, apparently now, homeless people everywhere. Got a lot of homeless people where I'm at. But it's okay, the view's nice. But California's getting wacky, okay? You best believe my intro song was an Easter egg. California has gotten weird. I saw something that we're going to get so controversial right off the top. This is just what I wake up and think about when I start thinking about California and some of the things. And this is what's interesting. And this is where I'm giving so many caveats and just disclaimers. You never know what the truth is when you start looking into some of these things that is supposedly going into law and these bills with Gavin Newsom and everything. But there's one about transgender people using or going to the same prison. They get to choose what prison they go into in California. And I'm like, that sounds all fine and dandy if people who truly feel like they are trapped in a different body and, you know, people can do whatever the fuck they want to do with their life. I don't give two shits. I support you, you know. I wish I had some friends that were furries, okay, just to hang out with them. Have a friend who think he was a wolf. I'd go howl at the moon at him, just, you know, in solidarity. I'd go howl with him, you know, whatever. Think you're an owl? I'll stay up late with you. I don't give a shit. You want to fucking screech at birds? Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Think you're a cat? I don't know. Shit gets weird when people are cats. People just get kind of weirdly sexual when they're cats. You ever notice that? They instantly act like catnip. Like they just are like, I'm a cat. Cats like catnip. So I'm going to do this weird little ecstasy thing where they're like, meow, meow. At least the people I've been around that do like some weird improv shit of cats. Get sexual real quick. Like, why are they always the go-to with improv with cats is to clean yourself? People just always I think because people secretly always want to do that where they get a leg up in the air and they're just like, they just start going for it. Cats are sultry creatures. That's what it comes down to when you start looking at cats. They're just sultry. You know, they'll like rub on your leg and then just like kind of walk off. They just like flirt at you and make you look at your weird little butthole as they go away. And they're just like, as they walk away. Or they just randomly turn up on you, grab a leg, fucking get 4 sets of claws in it, 1 bite, and then they're just, I'm off. I'm chill. Like, no, you're not. You just assaulted me, cat. But before I get off topic, because you can't just touch on something like that, the whole transgender in prisons thing. In a perfect world, yeah, let people do whatever the fuck they want to do. But we don't live in a perfect world. Just like when there was something about bathrooms, people can go into whatever bathroom they identify as. I think within 2 days, in my hometown, there was dudes putting wigs on and going in there and trying to be peeping toms in the bathroom stalls. So obviously, there's some situations where you got to be like, this is a logistics problem. We're going to send, like, I could just go into a women's prison and just be like, hey, my name's fucking Evelina. Let's fucking go. And then I'm just in there with the women. I would much rather be in a women prison. Nah. I don't think so, actually. If I'm going to jail, send me with the boys, okay? Because then you have to deal with, this could be a bit, but it'd be a hacky bit. Because, hanging out with women, y'all just sync up on the same cycles, you know. Dumb. I'm glad we trashed that here on the podcast. But shit gets a little weird when you start going into laws like that. And that's one that was like, Jesus, California, what are we doing? We're just running this shit till the wheels fall off, you know? It gets interesting. It gets interesting when you start having laws like that. When you start saying things are laws in those situations, it gets interesting. And I know the flip side, that someone who is transgender and they go into a regular prison and it's like they could be beat, they could be brutalized, whatever. There's a tough situation. And I always go back to, because I know this is a hot topic and I'm sorry if I offend you. Don't really care if I offend you. Just talking this shit out. We shouldn't be offended by people discussing possible situations. There was a situation which I always reflect back to with MMA. And I'm probably going to get shadow banned on social media again if this somehow gets on my social media. What was her name? Transgender MMA fighter. Oh, shit. What is her name? Because you can go look it all up. I'm going to have to pull this up real quick. Because it was... the first thing, transgender female fighter breaks skull. Fallon Fox. She was a female MMA fighter. And I say that with quotations because she was transitioning and didn't tell anyone that she was used to be a man. And there's things that go into, you have to figure out the logistics of this, because you're going to run into a situation where all of a sudden an MMA fighter is getting their skull crushed and broken and fractured, and women getting brutally knocked out. You can look at the fights of Fallon Fox. Some of them are brutal, and you're like, that looks like a man fighting a woman. And in some sense of the words, it is, because there's different reaction times, there's skull or bone density, there's muscle mass, there's all this stuff that is naturally built into men. And this isn't me being a masculinist or whatever, a manimist, misogynist. I just made up so many words to say that statement. But there is big differences. And when it comes to sports, that's a huge difference. And when you start getting into situations like that, and it sucks because they didn't disclose it. They didn't say, hey, yeah, this is a transgender fighter. This is a woman fighter. And it wasn't until someone investigated, because they were like, that bitch hit me so fucking hard. And they looked into it. Turns out she was formerly a man. And There was all these issues. It was very controversial. And she ended up losing to an MMA fighter. But even if you watch that fight, I'm like, that looks like someone fighting who's like playing with their kids, who like you're letting your kid get mount on you and you're just like, no, oh, you're so strong. Like it looked like she kind of threw the fight to show people, hey, I can lose too. I'm not, I'm just a regular girl. Just like Caitlyn Jenner's a old-fashioned girl, Isn't that the craziest shit that Caitlyn Jenner went on Ellen DeGeneres and was like, I don't believe in gay marriage. I'm just an old-fashioned gal. There's so much that you could dig into right there. We're not going to dig into it now, but I've probably lost so many people right now. I don't give a shit. You guys get off the board right now. Get off the fucking boat. Go march back to fucking, I don't know. Anyway, we're coming at you hot. I apologize. Things are just so tense in the world. But getting back on topic, it was a huge thing about this transgender MMA fighter. And this is the solution that I think you have to start figuring out. Everything in fighting is broken up into weight classes and ability. And you have certain, athletic commissions that will sanction a fight. And it's broken down by the level of experience. You can't just have a nobody on the street, even if they're a celebrity or something, decide that they're going to fight a professional fighter. You have to find a commission that would actually sanction that fight. And it's a government body that is like, they look at it and evaluate, is this in some way a fair fight? And kind of the solution for it would be like, we have weight classes, we have skill level matchups. We need to create, if we're going to do this, a transgender not organization. They can fight on the organization, but basically a weight class. We need to be just like we have a man's division, a woman's division. And this is the thing. I know you get into a really gray area when you start working like this, but in a case of fighting, we're talking about brain damage. We're talking about potentially killing an opponent. And there's some things in that situation that are just rough. It's hard to deal with. Anyway, I'm canceled from now on, just because I talked about this and I had an opinion that might not be in line with the Hollywood entertainment way of thinking. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how tense things are in the world right now. Isn't it crazy? You just can't even have opinions. And I have predictions. I do think Donald Trump, if he doesn't die from COVID-19, is going to win again. I really do think it. And I think it is because there's a lot of people. You don't really hear many people speaking publicly on the conservative side about their political beliefs. You don't see a lot of it. You see it because a lot of liberal stuff, because that's kind of in line with media and online. They always lean progressive. So you see a lot of that. And not only that, there's a lot of stuff going around of deplatforming hate speech. And it's starting to become a thing for celebrities to get on board with this, of deplatforming hate speech and violent speech. And they've started to connect dots back so far that if you even hold a political belief that doesn't match up with theirs, it's considered hate speech and possible violent speech, because you support this belief, then that means you support this, and that you support this, and that you support this, which can invoke hate and violence. So then it gets deplatformed. But I really do think that there's a lot of people that just aren't saying things out loud that believe a certain way. I don't know what just happened to my computer, but it just split weirdly down the middle. Weird times, ladies and gentlemen. Weird times. Kind of like me, split down the middle. I think when you lean too hard one side politically, it gets weird. It gets wacky, because when people have political allegiance, it's die hard. You can't say anything wrong about your political party. You can't say these fucks or the wheels are coming off, or you don't support one certain thing. And you're starting to see that with all this stimulus debate and everything like that. Why the fuck are we talking about politics again? God darn it. you know? What was I talking about at the beginning? Oh, it's that damned old rodeo. Oh, there's a couple things I think I could have been in my life. Could have been a professional gamer. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Had I stuck with video games when I was young, I think I could have been a professional gamer. Listen, your boy gets them Warzone wins. I got Warzone wins in solo, duos, trios, and quads. Get that squad on there. Shall do with randoms. I don't give a shit, you know? Could have been a professional gamer. And I'm passionate about it. I just love the strategy of Warzone. Getting in there, you know, just getting there and pew pew all day, baby. Could have been a professional gamer. Monster, you can still reach out. I'll be a semi-pro gamer, okay? I'll be semi-pro. And a rodeo star. I just got it in me. Listen, my head, I got a big head, okay? I got to get special hats to fill this thing. Used to be embarrassed about it as a kid, but I just got a big brain, okay? At the end of the day, I could take a hit. You know, I got a big dome. And you know what fits perfectly on a big dome? Cowboy hat. Cowboy hat. Straight up, ladies and gentlemen. Get a cowboy hat on me. It don't look. That cowboy hat will get on my head and it'll be like, home sweet home. I was made for this. Take me home, West Virginia. Yeah. It's been like the biggest thing, and honestly, I love it. How many comedians are leaving California. And I think it's normal. I think it's good. And I don't think I don't want everybody to leave. A lot of you fucks can stay here. But the idea of comedy and entertainment and everything getting spread out, that is the one silver lining, I think, of the pandemic, is it forced us to evolve into to adapt to technology, and more opportunities kind of started showing up when you look for them. That's always been my thing, is me getting on my TED Talk about motivation, is you really can't find what you want to do with your life. And I tell this to young people, until you actually take action to find it. Like, there's that quote, like, you can't see the steps going forward, but you can trace them going back. You have to take those steps. You have to be forced into a situation where you're like, all right, I need to seek this. And sometimes it's as little as, if you're a songwriter, if you're a comedian, if you're whatever you're doing, you're writing a film, you just got to sit down and do it. Like, you actually have to put the time, and you have to sit there, and it will show up. It's the art of making something out of nothing. It'll come to you. And I think that's what the pandemic did, is a lot of people that didn't think they could adapt and didn't see the power of the internet, and they never had to, because it was never a necessity. A lot of these businesses. And I think it's good in a lot of ways that people can not waste their time going into a job for 8 hours a day that they could do at home in 3. I've never understood that. And that's kind of why, like, I have, for the way my business structure is with the way I work, I don't have it where I think, how many hours is this going to take me to do? I've spent countless hours sharpening my skills and doing certain things and optimizing and putting in all the work to figure out the smartest and most efficient way to do something. So I don't charge based off of an hourly rate. I do kind of estimate sometimes, you know, kind of a day fee, something like that. But it's all based on performance. I can give you this for that. You know, you need this task done, pay me for this task. Don't pay me for how many hours it takes me to do that task, because you want to see me not show up and me not give it my all. Just pay me for the time. Make me go somewhere and clock in to do work that's never going to get done, especially if it's one of those jobs. You'll find my brain matter out of my big ass head all over the fucking wall. Not really, but you get what I'm saying. Couldn't do it. And I think that's what's great about why I think people are leaving. It decentralizes everything. You don't have to be in California for stand-up. You don't have to be in New York. There's all these different hubs and scenes starting to grow. And I think it's with everything now. I think there's a lot of people that are going to be able to work remotely all over the place with whatever they want to do, especially with the internet, you know. There's a lot of stuff that seems like it's so bad in the world right now. Things are great online. Right now, if you're a young person, if you're 18 to fucking, I don't care, 45 even, you don't have to worry about what would happen if you lost your job. Make something online. A little bit of independence. If you got like that independent mindset, fucking make something. Doesn't matter. No one can stop you. Build your own fucking boat, okay? Build your own boat so no one can sink that shit. And the bigger it gets, the less the waves bother it. Bars. I went to say oceanic bars, and it came out R's. But I'm a pirate, so still made sense. Recovery bars. Yeah, I'm looking at Texas. That was always the plan. I know I've regurgitated this story, but it was always the plan. I just like how polite people are there. The cost of living is insane. Gas, half the price of here. Your boy going to sell his car, just get a truck, get a cowboy hat, maybe get a steer. Just put it in the back of my truck. I don't give a shit. Just drive around town with it. You know? Who's going to rob a fucking truck with a steer on the back? Big ass horns. I want a long horn. You know how some people represent the longhorns? They could put it on a fucking sweatshirt. Nah, man. I'm from California, so I have to have an organic, actual live steer on there. Longhorn in the back. That way, when I drive places, people are like, oh, where are you from? Where the fuck do you think I'm from? I'm from Texas. Goddamn Texas Ranger, Lone Star State, till I die. That's one thing that I love to do when I go somewhere new. Just pretend I've been there my entire life. Like, you best believe when I first moved to Ventura, people would come visit me. We'd go surfing. I'd be like, just so you know, bro, I grew here. You flew here. Okay, fly home, little bird. Okay, you can stay here, but my roots go deep in this ground. Okay, I'd do it in Puerto Rico, just living there. Pretend I'm from the island. I'd even mess with people. I'd mess with other people just visiting. They'd be like, you got to be careful on my island, okay? You're not going home. They find your body. There was always weird shit that would happen in clubs there. So weird. So weird. You know what? This is one thing that happened in Puerto Rico a lot that grossed me out. And I always wondered, why didn't people really like people from the States that were visiting Puerto Rico? Like, in Puerto Rico, there's people from the United States a lot of times had a bad rap. And I didn't understand it at first, but I was living there. So I wasn't on vacation. I was actually going to school, everyday life. It was cool. But people who were visiting there, they were like going nuts. And it was like, I'm on a fucking tropical island. Holy shit. And they'd get wasted drinking fucking fruity ass drinks and just out on the dance floor pretending to dance salsa. Just typical American shit that you're just like, what are you doing, man? I'd be watching it because I didn't get it when people would say Americans. And I'd see them and I'd be like, God damn it, this is what they're talking about. And a weird thing that I would always see, these fucks, they would always ask me, where the hookers at? Bro, I'm not the one that asked, do I look like I go to hookers? Or I am a hooker? They'd get offered that one time. They'd get offered to be a hooker. No shit. This isn't even a joke. I lived near, I got to figure out how I'm going to tell this story. Yeah. I lived near someone whose, we'll say their friend's sister, was a madame, if you will. Apparently would hire young women and young men to be escorts for successful businessmen and women. And I got propositioned because your boy, apparently easy on the eyes in Puerto Rico. To Puerto Rican women, your boy is it. And listen, when I lived in Puerto Rico, I used that shit to my advantage. Because you know one thing that liked me? Puerto Rican old ladies loved me. But before I get off topic, I said no. And they were like, are you sure? You'd only, sleep with older women and everything like that, successful, real clean. And I'm like, like what? I didn't, no, I'm not interested in that line of work. I mean, maybe if I could like do a do-over, like, you can live 1,000 lives and you're like, well, let me just try this flavor today, and you're like, well, what's this job like? And then you do it and you're like, erase it from my memory. Gave me some weird scars. Fucked me up mentally. I'm out. But yeah, I did get propositioned for that in Puerto Rico. But the old ladies in Puerto Rico, man, it was a weird world. They didn't like, it was funny because my sister and I lived in Puerto Rico at the same time. And they didn't give her that much slack. And all the administration in the nursing administration where we went to school, all old ladies. And they wouldn't help my sister out at all. But your boy, I go out in the parking lot, do a couple push-ups, wearing a nice little t-shirt, little tight t-shirt. Sometimes I give him a tank top on Fridays. And I'd go in there with a question, something going on. Ay, Dios mío, Evan, ven aquí. And I'd be like, bendición, mami. You know, like just talking my shit. Make him laugh, give him little side hugs, let him fill up on me a little bit. I'd get whatever papers I need pushed through. Yeah, girls do it all the time. Why can't I wet my beak a little bit on the pleasures and the spoils of war, if you will? I don't know what the fuck that means. But it was funny because I was like, this shit is so ass backwards in the States. The clubs were the same, though, where dudes are still paying for drinks. Girls could just get free drinks. But yeah, I got asked so many times by hooker or people looking to pay for women. They never said hookers. Where the hookers at? I'd be like, what are you, a 1960s beat cop? But I would have people, I remember, what I used to always do in Puerto Rico, I lived next to a Marriott on the beach. And I would just go use their amenities. You know, they had great saunas, and I'd sneak into their gym. They had like nice little water cups where you could fill up with like iced cucumber water. I used to fucking love it. I'd just be strolling through on a Saturday, just get my nice little, like, the towels smell amazing. I'd go work out in their gym, and then I'd go in their sauna, use their showers. They had all like that fancy like hotel soap and shampoo. I loved it. But I would also go over there and just sit in the jacuzzi. Why not? Had a nice pool where it was all neon lights and everything. I'd swim a couple laps and I'd just hang out. It was a great time. They had hammocks. I'd lay out on them. And I could because I look American. They were like, nah, this dude just is visiting. I'd be in the jacuzzi sometimes. And I just have the weirdest conversations. People just visiting. And then, you know, I would end up telling them that I lived there and everything. And then they would start asking me, where are the girls at? And I'd be like, okay, weird, creepy Armenian dude. I'd be like, well, there's Bravas, there's Bed Lounge, there's all these clubs. I'd start giving them, okay, you know, just go here. There's, you know, it's fun and everything. You can dance and all of that. And I'm like, I'm pretty innocent in that world. I've never been in that hooker world, okay? Never, yeah, no, not for me. Not for me. I don't even like being around it. I see some weird shit going on, and I'm like, ugh, that is dark. I was just thinking about this video that I saw where this hooker and this pimp were interviewed on YouTube, and it's the weirdest, darkest shit. I think it's through Vice, and there's one time where she's like, I'm going to keep it 100 with you, and he's like, yeah, keep it fucking 100, bitch. And then she like shut up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is dark. So when I said dark right now, it reminded me of that. But yeah, and then these dudes, these weird, creepy dudes, they were asking me, no, like the women. And they went like this, and I was like, you're going to rub them with your fingers? I didn't even know what that meant. And then he went for pay, you know, and I said, oh, no, I don't know anything about that. That ain't my market, man. I'm all about that free market, you know what I'm saying? And then one time, I'll leave you guys on this story about my Puerto Rican spa days. This older couple, we weren't really older, probably in their 40s, I would say. I was just a young buck. I think I was like 22. And we're just chilling in the sauna, no, not the sauna, the jacuzzi, having a great time. You know, just chatting, laughing, and everything. I'm pretty good at conversation with the nice couple. And they start whispering, and they're like kissing on each other and everything. I'm like, all right, this is getting near my exit. They're obviously getting aroused in here, and they're going to go do their thing. You know what? They're on a vacation. I'm not being self-aware enough that I'm intruding on an opportunity for them to have a passionate, great night alone in this jacuzzi. They're at least paying for the hotel. They should get it alone. And then they start asking, they're like whispering everything and looking at me, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to make my exit. And she goes, wait, the husband goes, hey, my wife, she thinks you're cute. And I go, oh, huh, thanks, appreciate that. And I don't know what to say because I've never been in that situation. I'm just like, well, this is weird. And then he goes, I think you're cute too. And then I just go, okay. All right. You guys have a good vacation, okay? Bye. And I got out of the jacuzzi. Wasn't sticking around to see what was proposition because they were going to try to fuck your boy, all right? And we're not ready for that. Not really our cup of tea, if you will. And those are my Puerto Rico jacuzzi stories, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked them, you know? Got a hell of a week ahead of us, huh? I feel like every week for the rest of, at least to the election, is going to be a hell of a week, okay? It's interesting. I am going to Texas in a couple weeks, and I'm going to try to do some podcasts from there while I'm there for a week, checking things out. And yeah, I hope you guys are flourishing, living good, and remember, no matter what, I still love you.